Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 279 for September the 24th, 2024, and it's Tuesday, and I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Don't know why I said that, but I thought I would anyways. Let's jump right into what I've been working on. Okay, you've seen these in the vlog as well. Again, I'm looking for my buttons here to push. That's what I wanted to hit. Okay, so this is, as you know, because you've seen it every week in various pieces, this is the Stephanie Stitches Cozy Stars quilt sew along. And it's done. Well, what you see is the top. That part is done, and I'm loving it. And I have already put it on Lucy, and I've already quilted it. I just need to bind it, and I'm going to do that sometime this week, and next week I'll have it all ready to show you. But let's talk about this, shall we? First of all, I absolutely loved this design. It was a lot of fun to do. I love the blocks that are in it. A lot of the blocks that are in this are potentially ones that, you could make a whole quilt just from those alone. And Stephanie's patterns are always very, very easy to follow. Not any problems whatsoever with them. So that's all great. And as I said, this came together pretty great. No problems. So I get it on Lucy. Now, that's where I had a little problem. Tension. Oh yeah, that dreaded word, tension. So I'm merrily quilting it along, and the top is looking great. Then I thought I better check the back. I looked at the back, and yeah, it's not horrible. And it'll have to do because I didn't check it until halfway through the quilt, but the tension could be better. Now, it isn't something, once I get the binding on it, once I throw it in the washing machine and it puffs up a little bit, it's not really going to be that noticeable, so it's not a disaster. But here's the thing. I had in my back of my head, I thought I might enter this into a quilt show. Now, like for judging, okay? I have never really entered a quilt in a quilt show for judging because there's not a whole lot of them in my area. This isn't like the United States where you have fairs in all the states every year and you have, all these other quilt shows. They're not as popular here in my area, so I didn't know of any place where I could enter a quilt. But we do have a spring fair in my area, and I didn't realize it, but they do take quilts and judge them. And so that comes up in June next year, first weekend in June. And I was thinking in the back of my head, I downloaded the regulations for how to submit a quilt. Oh my God, it's a book, and it asks for some really stupid things. Like I'm sure I read in there, maybe I got it wrong, I have to go back and review it, that they wanted swatches of the fabric used in the quilt. Huh? Never heard of that. But then again, I've never really entered a quilt show before, but that just kind of sounds bizarre. I'm going to have to double check that. I think I've got something wrong. I must have something wrong about that. Anyways, I was thinking this one would be potentially one I could enter in the show. No, not now. Not with that back. It's minor, but judges would pick it up, and that would be it. So I will, if I'm going to enter that show, and I'm not saying that I am, I'm going to do a different quilt. I might do my own quilt, my own design. I don't know. Like When Stars Collide, I'd like to remake that quilt again, but that might be what I'll do. I don't know. Anyways, it's not a complete disaster. The quilt front looks wonderful with the quilting. It'll look even better when I get binding on it. And as far as that little problem on the back, well, we'll just have to live with it. Because I'm not ripping out all the stitches. It's not that bad. But lesson to self. I'm an idiot, and I always learn something from my idiot moves. First of all, the idiot move was this. Do one row. Don't even do a full row. And take a look at the back of the quilt. Now, the tricky part in that is when I'm doing an edge-to-edge design and using the computer, getting it back to where I started, I have to think about how to do that if I roll it ahead. However, I think I just figured that out in my brain right now as I said that. So yeah, it's possible. Check the tension. So what did I do about the tension problem? Well, I made a blank quilt sandwich. I'll put it on Lucy. And I used 2 different colors of thread that would show up on both the back and on the front. And I started playing with the tension. Now, I'd seen a video about how to do this and about the ideal where you want your thread to be. And of course, your threads join up. Let me switch the camera here. Your threads lock, right? I can't get my arms to go this way, but you know, this is the top. This is the bottom thread. This is the top thread. Open the doors and see all the people. Never mind. And, you know, ideally you want this intersection point here to be in the middle of the quilt sandwich, kind of thing, in the middle of the batting. At least that's what the video told me. And so there's a little dial, right? And you play with that. So I did. I played quite a bit with that. And then I did some free motion with the machine and made it do like severe points, because that's what this video I said will really show you. Because if you see the thread at that point where you shouldn't see it, like your bottom thread, then you gotta loosen off the top, loosen off the tension a little bit. So, you know, the bobbin thread is pulling down more of the top thread. Okay. It sounds logical, and it is logical, but putting that into practice is very fiddly. So I think I have my tension adjusted now properly. I've got a quilt that I'm going to show you here in a second that I want to get on there and do, and that'll be my test piece. I'm a little hesitant, but the worst case scenario is the tension would be out. The tension won't be out by that much when I do this. So I can adjust it on that. And if I get to it soon enough, like pull it up, then it shouldn't cause me any grief. Those are my idiot quilter theories. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But the quilt that I'm talking about is right here. Let me show you this. Yes, it's busy. Very busy. Okay, I know that. And I knew it would be. This does not follow a pattern. I threw this together myself. There are 20 of those blocks. The blocks are all the same. They look different because I used 2 different red fabrics in them. And in the center of each block, there is a gnome. In fact, there's gnomes all over this. Why? Because I could. Because I had a bunch of charm packs, Christmas charm packs, Christmas gnomes, and a strip pack that went with it. And I didn't know what I'd do with it, and I needed to clean out my palette, give me a palette cleanser, and so I just started making blocks. And then I started arranging the blocks, and I added some strips, and I added some to make the spacing work. I have a lot of trouble with quilt math, I can tell you that. I added some larger blocks, actually blocks from a panel. That's what's in the very center. And yeah, threw on a couple of borders, and there it is. If anything, it's colorful, it's bright, it's loud. It certainly is an attention grabber. And that's the next one I'm going to quilt. It's fun. Let's just say that, shall we? It's fun. And yeah, it works. Okay. Yes, I know it's really busy. You know, I'm thinking this would be a fun kids quilt, right? Kids don't care how busy it is. The busier the better. Keeps them busy staring at it. But anyways, it's done. It's there. There's little gnomes. There is some mystery to this quilt. If you look at it really carefully, and in the picture you probably can't see it, but in the little tiny 2-inch corner pieces on the stars, there's a gnome in each one of those, but the gnomes are in different positions, and some of them, because of the way I cut them, look like they're peeking out behind the points of the star and things like that. So there's a lot of things going on here visually, if you look at it long enough. If you stare at it too long, you'll go crazy. But I mean, yeah, kids would love it. So, and you know, Christmas is lots of fun for kids. So There it is. What do you want? Okay, now speaking of kids and things, well, Halloween's always fun, right? And so this guy is too. He's an in the hoop project done in my embroidery machine, and I need to do a little tutorial about this kind of in the hoop embroidery because this is slightly different from the in the hoop applique pieces that I have shown in the past. This one's actually done in pieces, but you sew the pieces in or in the hoop together. This guy's kind of big. He's about 24 inches across. So you do like the wingspan on one side is a separate piece. The bottom half of his body is a separate piece. His head's a separate piece. There's several different pieces. And in a normal tiled or table runner style machine applique embroidery kind of project, you usually sew the pieces after you've got them all done up in the embroidery machine on your regular sewing machine. But in this one's case, you don't. You sew them right in the hoop. And the file is designed in such a way that you know where to line up the pieces. It is a bit tricky, but the end result's a lot of fun. So this might be something that I should do for maybe So Chatty to show you how this works out. I'll have to think about that. Anyways, lots of fun. He's great. You know, I love doing anything on my embroidery machine. Words are failing me this morning, sorry. But anyways, yeah, he's just fun. And he was fun to do as well. And before anybody asks me, where did this design come from? It came from Kreative Kiwi. That's Kreative Kiwi spelt with a K, all one word. They're a company in New Zealand. They have a lot of really fun in the hoop projects, and they usually put up videos about many of them. There is a video on YouTube for doing this guy. So if you want to see how it's done, actually, that's maybe what I should link to. Why should I show how to do it when it's already done? Anyways, we'll see. So just go on to YouTube, and I don't know if I put the link for him in the show notes or not for that video. I may have. I'll check it out and see if I have. And maybe I'll add it if I didn't. And yeah, they're a great company. Their stuff isn't that expensive, and they usually have a tutorial for it too. Okay, so do I have anything else to show you here? Yeah, I do, but I'm not at that point yet. So let me come back to me. There we go. Okay, so what's coming up? Sewing with Stephanie and Steven on Wednesday, as usual. Doors open, the virtual doors open at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Come and go as you please. Work on whatever you want. Have a good time. We always do. And the link for that is in the show notes. Now, my big event for the fall, my Idiot Quilter Fall 2024 Retreat. The registration starts in less than 2 weeks' time on Saturday, October the 5th. The registration will begin, and that starts at 9 a.m. Please do not send your request for registration before 9 a.m. Saturday, October 5th, because I won't accept it then. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I'm nasty, but I only have 95 spots, and they fill up very quickly, and I have to do it on a first-come, first-served basis. So now don't worry if you're really panicking, you know, and for those of you out on the West Coast, I know that that's very early in the morning. And when I say it fills up quickly, I mean it fills up over a period of several days, not within several minutes. So yeah, if you don't want to get up 3 hours earlier than 9 o'clock my time, kind of thing, so 5 o'clock your time in the morning to register, you don't have to. There'll be room. Okay, you'll get in, probably. You know, I really wish that I could afford to pay for a Zoom account that would give me many, many more you know, spots. But no, I looked at it and it jumps drastically. I mean, it costs me now about $220, $240 a year for what I have. And that gives me 100 spots. Yeah, I know I said I'm only taking 95. I need to leave a few spots for Walter and me and for my technology on that day. So yeah, but it just jumps, you know. So I can't afford that. It's just as easy. Now I know some people say, well, if you charged something for this, no, I'm not going to charge. I never have charged for the retreats. They are absolutely free. The only reason I'm asking you to register for it is so you can reserve your spot. That's it. But it's absolutely free. Yes, it costs me money to put the retreat on, but that's okay. It's part of my hobby. It is part of what I do. I am not concerned about it. I mean, yeah, I pay for the prizes and things like that, but that's okay. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I really do. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. Okay? I don't have any ulterior motives for doing this except to have fun. That's it. So, yeah. To charge people for it, and I've had people tell me this before, they wouldn't mind paying for it. Well, that's a nice vote of confidence in my ability to put one of these on. But I'm not a business. I don't have basically a way to collect money for things, and I'm not going to go into that and do it. It's a bit involved, and yeah, then it takes the fun out of it for me. Okay? And this is why I do this. It's fun. It's for me. Fun. Okay? Yeah, maybe it is all about me. But whatever. If it stops being fun, then I don't want to do it anymore. Life's too short to do things you don't enjoy. I enjoy this. I enjoy what's happening with it. And I hope you enjoy it as well. And yeah. And I'm rambling. So moving on. Okay, so that was about the fall retreat. If you haven't seen the video yet, the link for it is in the show notes. Please, it only runs about 10 or 12 minutes. Please watch the video. It explains everything for you. Okay, so what else? Well, let's talk about the little mini haul of fabric that I got on the weekend from my local quilt store, which is called, of course, Ultimate Sewing. Love the store. Love the ladies. Shout out to all of them. And here's what I bought. Now, I originally went into the store to pick up some embroidery threads for my machine, ones I was low on. Yeah. $300 later, I bought fabric. Yeah, because I hadn't seen these ones before, and one thing led to another. So in the bottom part of the screen, you can see this is Christmas fabric. It's a little unusual, isn't it? Because you don't expect those colors for Christmas at all. And that's why it stood out. But I'm thinking of making some Christmas napkins, possibly for my sister for Christmas. And I was thinking this would be very nice, this fabric, because it doesn't yell Christmas. So, she could use it through the fall into the winter, probably. Yeah, so I bought my standard lot of 2 meters each. So, and Ultimate Sewing's prices are really good on fabric, like on average $16 a meter. You can't beat that anywhere. Okay, I'm talking Canadian. Okay, remember. Above that, at the top of the screen, you see 3 really lovely fall type fabrics. And I bought those because I thought, napkins as well, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I just thought in my head, I have a need for some fall napkins because I have people coming for dinner. I could have quite a few people in October for dinner, actually, because I'm thinking of doing Thanksgiving and having my sister's family over here too. So I better get on this project. That's a project. I gotta get on that now because that's coming up. Our Thanksgiving comes up really early. Like I think it's the 14th of October is our Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving Monday. So yeah, that weekend. I know for Americans it's not till the end of November, but for us it's early in October. Better get on with that. Okay, so there's that, and then you see those ones that are in the package. Those are tea towels, and they're Kimberbell tea towels. And again, I bought them for possibly future embroidery projects. I have to blame Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches for this. She was making some towels on her embroidery machine. You know, I tempted her. I got her to run down the rabbit hole of machine embroidery, and now there's no stopping her. I've turned her into a monster. However, she was doing some towels, and then I saw these, and I thought, I could use some new kitchen towels for myself. Mine are pretty ratty, and or I can just make them as a little gift kind of idea. I don't know. I bought them. They're there. So, a little over $300 later, I came out with the few threads I needed and a whole lot of fabric. Yeah. So, life happens. So does fabric. Okay. So, just pushing the right button here. You know why I'm having trouble pushing the buttons, right? Because I explained that on vlog yesterday because I wiped out my computer. Okay. If you haven't seen that, you might want to see it. But anyways, moving right on, let's talk about plans for So Chatty. We did thread last Friday, and somebody has come up with a suggestion, and at first I kind of went in my head, nah, I don't want to do that. I think we've talked about that. But then I bounced it off Walter, and Walter said, yeah, we did do something about presser feet. At one point he said, it wouldn't probably hurt to revisit that. So that's what we're probably doing this Friday. We're going to talk all about feet for your sewing machine, not our own feet. No. Oh, you don't want to see Walter's feet. They're gnarly. He has bunions. Okay, enough about that. He'll shoot me for telling you about his feet. But anyways, yeah, so I think we're going to do it all about feet. And I have in my head, and I'm going to start on it today, a way of putting together sort of a video for this to make it a little bit clearer, to show you these feet in operation, actually. So, yeah. And we're still planning to do, Stephen makes a shirt. Walter teaches me how to sew a shirt. We have the fabric picked out for this. Walter has the pattern ready to go. We just have to find a moment when we can coordinate our schedules. Yeah, I know that sounds funny because we're both retired and we live in the same house and we're together. Yeah. No, the problem is this. I'm a day person. He's a night person. I'm a morning person. He is a late afternoon person. And trying to, get the two together, it's not as easy as you would think. My people have to talk to his people. We do lunch, whatever. Okay. So, yeah. But we have that on the plans. We're going to do it. I have to say I'm a little afraid, because I've never sewn a shirt, and Walter makes beautiful shirts. So, but I'm definitely going out of my wheelhouse here, out of my comfort zone to do this, and that's always a good thing. And speaking of going out of your comfort zone, I have been in a sewing slump. I really have. Thank you to people who told me what you do when that happens to you, and they're all good suggestions. And they're all things that I've been trying. And I think I'm coming out of it. But here's my problem. I really started thinking about why am I having the slump. The slump is this. I like to make things. But I want to make things for other people. And really, I have a very small family. And they're really not into what I do. Okay? I don't have any friends, so that doesn't help. You might think I'm joking. I'm not. Okay? I really don't hang out with a lot of people. Giving them to charity is fine, and I have, and you know that. I've talked about Project Linus and the homeless shelter in our area and a couple of other spots that I have donated quilts to. But here's the problem when you donate to a charity. That's it. You walk in, you drop it off, you never see it again. You don't know what has happened to it, whether or not, it's going to a good use, that, it's really made a difference in somebody's life. You don't know that at all. And I know I've heard people say before, once you give away a quilt, that's it. It's not yours anymore. What becomes of it becomes of it. And I get that. But, in some ways you'd like to know what's happening, with it. I know that some people talk about selling it, like opening up an Etsy store or something like that. But then this goes back to what I said earlier about my retreat and charging money. Then I have to open up some form of a business to do this. And I'm not really interested in doing that. So I don't know. I have actually thought, okay, this is out of the box. Okay, this is wacko. I've actually thought of piling up all my quilts that I want to give away on a wagon, going up the street, ringing on doorbells of all the neighbors and go, "Hi, here's a quilt for you." And going on to the next store. "Hi, here's a quilt for you." Now, if they didn't call the cops on me, for one thing, I think they think, "Oh, he's a little weird, isn't he?" Sometimes you got to be weird, though, really. But, I've thought about that. Maybe I need to sit down and brainstorm with myself for ideas. But this is what's been holding me back from working on. I have lots of projects, lots and lots of projects I want to do. And then I look at them and go, I don't feel like that today. Give you an example. I was going to quilt the gnome quilt I just showed you today. I don't think I'm going to. I have started another project. It's another in the hoop project, and I'll show that to you in a moment. But I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe it's a change in season. That is a thing. It can affect you, and maybe that's what's going on with me. But like I said, I'm hoping I'm slowly getting back into things. So maybe I need something more challenging. Maybe I need to challenge myself, like making the shirt thing. So we'll see. Anyways, if you have other suggestions that when you go through something like this, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that goes through that, put them in the comments below. Can't hurt. Okay, rambling on. So, subscribers quilt of the week. This comes from my friend Pat Jennings, and she has submitted some quilts for us to see before, and they are all absolutely gorgeous. And so here's another one of her gorgeous quilts. This week's quilt comes from one of my longtime subscribers and a good friend, Pat Jennings. And we've seen Pat's beautiful art quilts before because that's mainly what she does. Pat really likes to go out there and create her own designs. She's not really a pattern follower, and that's what makes her quilts really unique. Well, here is another example of her unique style. And she calls this one Thank You, William Morris, and the size is 31 by 31 inches. And she says this piece serves as a nod to William Morris, famous English designer and activist for the art movement in the 19th century. It is done in English paper piecing, applique, and hand quilting. Swans from Liberty fabrics are featured in the center block. So let's take a look at this a little closer. She, of course, has done hexes, so I imagine that is English paper piecing. And the quilting on it is phenomenal. And it's all hand quilted. And the feather design that she has done and the way she has outlined the center block is amazing, to say the least. This is a very beautiful example of a hand quilted quilt using hexagons, but even still, it definitely is named appropriately because it really does show off the William Morris style of textile design. So thank you, Pat, for sharing your beautiful creation with us. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm running low again on your projects to show. So if you've got something you want to send me one picture of and a little short blurb under 50 words, please do. And I'll be happy to feature it here. Okay, so that takes me to a multitude of quilts. Now, this is inspiration, okay? If part of your slowing down on your sewing is from lack of inspiration, then this will really inspire you. And this was done by the CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcasting Company Corporation. It's our major government-funded television station that none of us watch. And they did a short little video about Charlottetown, which is in PEI, and a quilt show was there. And one of my other friends, Colleen, who lives in Charlottetown, I do believe she showed some of her quilts in that show as well. Now, this show was a little bit unique because they weren't being judged. And they did it in a church, and it's a gorgeous setting. Well, before I say any more about it, here's my review of this video clip. This week's video clip is all about a quilt show that was recently held in Charlottetown, PEI, Canada. And this is a fantastic video showing some wonderful quilts. And the setting alone just offsets all the quilts very, very well. It's in a church in Charlottetown. Now, one of my good friends and subscribers to the channel, Colleen, she had a few quilts in this show as well. Now, this show is not a competition. It's just the local quilt guild getting together to show off their favorite quilts. And they are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if you're lacking any inspiration, watch this video. It's very short. It's by the CBC News, and it runs 2.5 minutes long, but there is tons of inspirational quilts in this particular video. So check it out. You won't be disappointed. That's, as it says, why this Charlottetown church is adorned with 150 colorful quilts and hangings, and they most certainly are. So the link for that is in the show notes. Do check it out. It's only about 2.5 minute, 3-minute video clip, and the quilts are just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so future projects and sneak peeks. Well, there is a quilt that I found in my stash of patterns. This was a free pattern from Jordan Fabrics. It's called the Little Dipper Lone Star Quilt. And the reason why I'm liking this one is I do like Lone Stars. But Lone Stars are a lot of work to make. But this is smaller Lone Stars, and I'm thinking, as individual blocks. Well, basically it is made up of individual blocks. So this is something that's there. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's making the wheels at least spin in my head. So here's what I mean. This week's future project is called Little Dipper Lone Star Quilt, and it's by Jordan Fabrics, and it is a free pattern that you can download. And I love Lone Stars, but Lone Stars and making them, well, they take a lot of work and a lot of time. Now, this one, though, is made up of fat quarters, which is very appealing to me because I have a lot of fat quarters, and this looks like it could be very, very scrappy, so that'll work. And it looks to me like you do it all in strips from fat quarters, and then you just cut them and put them together. So I think this is very, very doable and looks fantastic. Now, having said that, I think it will take some time to make. As you can see, they're showing you how to put the strips that you've cut together, and you need quite a few of these to make one block. And the overall quilt has quite a few blocks, as you can see. So this might take a while. It's a fairly large quilt. It's 78 by 78, but I think this would be stunning. And maybe one day, and I don't know when, I'll get the ambition to tackle this. Even making maybe one block would be very nice. You could probably turn it into a beautiful table runner or something like that. So I think it's inspiring. I think it's a way to use up your scraps or to use up your fat quarters that you may have an abundance of. And it is by Donna Jordan, so you know that the pattern is going to be very well written. And what am I working on? Well, I already alluded to this when I said that I've got another In the Hoop project, and this was on sale, and I think it's a designs by Juju, and I couldn't resist it. Here's the first little section of it. It is a table runner. It's called Whimsical Turkeys, and it's just fun. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, I have to make this. Like I said, I'm thinking of having my sister and her family all here for Thanksgiving dinner. This would look brilliant as a table runner down the center of my dining room table. I love the colors in it. It's bright, it's whimsical, it's just fun. So yeah, I got the first panel done yesterday, and I'm going to carry on with it later today. when I get other things I need to get done. And this is what is diverting me from quilting that gnome quilt. Okay? Yeah, squirrel. Okay, so back to me. Let's see. The online quilt stores. Okay, this one has a unique name. It's called Funky Monkey Fabrics. It's a little bit more than just a quilt store online. It's fabric for garments and things like that. This one is a really weird, in my opinion, kind of a weird. It's weird meaning here, a little different from the other online quilt stores that I've reviewed in the past. Well, here's my review of that, so you'll see what I mean. This week's online quilt store has a really cute name, Funky Monkey Fabrics, and they are located in, I am not sure where they're located. Let's go down to the bottom of their front page and see if it says. No, it does not. Oh, contact us. Let's go there and take a look. I should check this out before I started reviewing it. No, I am not sure where they... Oh, wait, here we go. Warehouse location out in the country, Ontario, Canada. Well, that's interesting. So they're an online store. They're not a brick and mortar, and they're somewhere out in the country in Ontario. Well, that's all we know, is that they're in Ontario. Okay, let's pop back up to the front page and take a look at what we have here. So, Blank Quilting Corp cotton sale. Say 15% at all in stock, Blank Quilting Corp. Never heard of that cottons. And it's good until the 22nd of September. So by the time you see this, that will be over. This is Canada's largest Minky retailer. So if you need Minky, this might be the place to check. Here's some samples of their new arrivals. $14 for Robert Kaufman. Oh, that's Minky. Flannel, Maywood Studios. Okay, and then some things down here, and $8.50, $8, $13. That's Minky again. And flannel. So they look like they have a lot of, and fleece. So all fabrics are priced in half-yard increments, okay? Should be in meters. So I'm taking off half a mark for that. Half a point. Canadian stores, it needs to be in meters. I'm sorry. It just does. Okay, so let's check out. Here's the list. They have wovens, Minky, knits, flannels, fleece, other, notions, vinyl, batting, interfacing, clearing. Okay, do they have cotton? What's under other? Well, that's just notions, silky satin, mesh. Okay, so this one, I don't know if they really have quilting cotton. Huh. Other fabric. Click on that, see where that goes. It doesn't go anywhere. Here we go. Server error. Something went wrong. Okay. Taking off a half a point on that. Website is not good. When you get an error like that. All right. Okay. I'm not sure if this one's worth looking at further, because I'm not seeing anything here that would suggest that they have quilting cotton. This seems to be more of a garment factory or garment fabric kind of thing. Well, that's cotton. That's cotton. That's cotton. Okay. So they do have cotton. Novelty prints. Yeah, this is not impressing me. All right, so we know that it's like these are $9 half yard, so it's $18 a meter. Well, or $18 a yard. Well, that's in about the ballpark, so nothing special about their prices. Okay, so there is a fair collection here of novelty prints. Some cute ones for Halloween. a little different. If you were looking for novelty prints for a specific kind of quilt you might be making, like a kid's quilt, there's a lot of things here I would see would be great with a kid's quilt. But it's really not exciting me for making a quilt, unless, as I said, I was going to make a novelty quilt or something like that. Now, they do have some Christmas, and again, Halloween. They have quite a few fabrics to choose from in this line of notions, but as far as standard quilting cotton is concerned, yeah, they don't seem to have a lot from that. Now, what do they have here? They do have it. So this is under wovens. I wouldn't have called them wovens. I would have called them cottons. That threw me off. They do have solids and blenders. Okay, let's see what they're showing here. Riley Blake, $18 a yard. Okay, well, they don't have a bad selection in blenders and things like that. Polycotton Kona solids. They have Kona solids. What are they selling those for? $6. That's for $12 a yard. That's pretty good. So if you're in Dakota, you'll probably like that. And then what do we got here? Well, it's Robert Kaufman. Okay. I don't like their interface for finding things. It's a bit cumbersome. Let's see. Brands. They have a lot of Robert Kaufman. There's this Blank Quilting Corp that they talked about before. Ooh, they have some things that are kind of interesting. On sale for $15 a yard. Okay, but a lot of them are out of stock, but that might be because it's on sale, or maybe they're trying to get rid of that brand. Figo, one you don't find a lot of on other sites. Price is okay, not a bad selection. There's stuff there that I see is workable. So really, they have a lot of Robert Kaufman, and it looks like their pre-cuts are incorporated in with their fabric. This is not easy to find the fabrics though, the way the user face layout is, and I'm going to take off half a point. No, I'm taking off a full point for that because I am not a browser. I like to get right into the lines. And yeah, okay. So, price isn't bad. Selection, a little limited, I think. Although they feel like Riley Blake or Robert Kaufman, they've got a lot there to choose from. But they don't seem to have pre-cuts as a separate, as a separate kind of category. Now, they do go on about Minky. I do not like Minky myself. I don't want to work with Minky. But there are many people that do, and I have no idea if these are good prices on Minky or not. Remember, this is all half a yard. They claim they have the largest selection of Minky. Oh, they got some indigenous-like fabric, some Christmassy kind of stuff. Okay, a lot of Minky. And as I said, that's what they advertise, that they have a lot of Minky. So if you're into Minky, I think it would be fine. Let's just check on their About Us. I'm skimming through this. They have a Facebook page, Instagram. Yeah, but they do not have a brick and mortar shop. It's strictly online. So, shipping. I saw something about shipping. Here we go. Standard Post, Canada Post. They have route protection, free shipping on single Canadian orders over $200 after discount before taxes. And they ship it whichever way is cheapest, either by Canada Post or courier. Flat rate shipping, $10 in Ontario, $14 elsewhere in Canada. And international shipping. I guess that depends on the order and where it's going, according to this. Okay, shipping isn't bad, so that's okay. I won't take anything off of that. They have a blog. And okay, so yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, I don't usually go to blogs, but that's just me. Okay, so, oh, and they have monkey rewards. How to earn. Sign up, you get 50 points. If it's your birthday, you get 50 points. If you share it on Facebook, it's 10 points. Purchasing, earn points as you buy your fabric, 10 points per dollar. Okay, and other ways to get it. Okay, so they have a point system. As soon as you create an account, click on the top banner to check how many bananas you have. Okay, I guess it goes with their theme of their title. Only one coupon code can be used per order, so this cannot be combined with any other coupon code. Okay, so if you earn, that's how you do and redeem. So yeah, I don't know how many you would need, but I guess I need to put in an order to check that out, so I am not doing that. Okay, so Funky Monkey Fabrics. Okay, for me, I am not going to be buying anything from them anytime soon because I'm not into Minky. Their selection of fabrics are an okay price, but they're very heavy on the Robert Kaufman, and they do have lots of Moda solids. So if you're into those two things, then you may find something you like here. Shipping is reasonable. So for all those reasons, I'm going to, well, I've taken a few points off and brought it down to 8 out of 10. I don't think it really deserves an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to give them a solid 7 out of 10. So that's Funky Monkey Fabrics. Okay, so that brings us close to the end of the episode, and this one's been a very rambly one, and I apologize for that, but that's just me today. And so, final thoughts, what's coming up? Okay, Country Roads Shop Hop. This is in my area. They have it every fall, and we went to it last year. You probably don't remember it, and we went to a couple of stores we had never been to before. There's only 4 shops that are involved in this, and they are a bit of a drive. You want to start out early in the day for it, because I think the one that's the furthest from us is probably about an hour's drive away. I don't know if we're going to do it again this year or not, because to be quite honest, all 3 out of the 4 shops, their prices are on the high end. They have little gimmick things to get you into the store. I think they give you a fat quarter or something, and there's a free pattern. So after you collect, you get a different piece of the pattern or something on each one. I've got the pattern still sitting here from last year. I never did it. Spent a lot of money on it because, of course, when you go to a shop hop, you got to spend money, right? And I don't know if it's worth it this time. Although Walter did say that the that one that looked like a broken down old shack, it's the one that I've told you about. I think it was called the Fabric Shack. They had a great selection of wide backs and really good price on them too. It's a little rabbit's warren, a little tiny place. The lady that runs it, very, very lovely lady with it. And there's a lot of some really cool things in there that you don't see every day. So we might make the drive. That's the one that's furthest away. We might make the drive to that one. Well, is it the furthest, or is it the one that's in the town, Lindsay? I don't know. We might do that. We're talking about doing that possibly this weekend, either Friday or Saturday. There's also a home show on in Toronto on the weekend. Walter loves home shows, but then when we get to the home show and we've paid to get in, it's basically just a big advertisement for doors and windows, and we've already got those. And there's other things, but it's kind of a day out, and if the weather is nice And I think the weather is supposed to be nice this weekend here. It might be nice to go downtown Toronto, take the GO train in, go to this, see the show, and maybe wander down the main part of downtown Toronto. We haven't done that in a while. So I don't know. We'll see. So we have options. It's always good to have options. So we'll see what happens, and we'll let you know. I'll let you know next week. Actually, if we do something like that, I'll probably talk about it on Stephen and Walter Live on Sunday. Okay. So, yeah, and just a reminder, registration for the fall retreat starts at 9 a.m. Saturday, October the 5th. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It rambled. I'm rambling now. I got to say goodbye. Have a great week. Bye for now.